Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kamaru Arifin. I'm a lecturer at UiTM Kedah Branch Campus. If you are new to my channel, do subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you won't miss any new video uploaded. And also, if you like the video that I have presented so far, do give it a thumbs up by clicking on the like button and also share with your friends. Okay, in today's sessions I'm going to discuss the solutions on the test that we have just done before this. So this is the test questions related to MAT112 topics, okay, that has been held in the online on the 26th June 2020. So the materials, you can get it from my website, okay, and you can download the questions and also the answer scheme later. All right, so without further ado, let's just go through the questions and also the answers. I will brief through the step by step how you arrive at the solutions. All right. Okay, bear in mind for the second test that we have done so far, it covers the topics of mathematics of retailings, okay, or retailing mathematics, and then we cover the topics of installment purchase and also depreciation. Right, so we're gonna go through one by one. So the first question is actually under the topic of mathematics of retailings, okay, or retailing mathematics. Okay, let's see how we can solve this problem. Okay, the question stated that Aisha bought 30 kitchenware sets at 57 ringgit each. Okay, so 57 ringgit each. She intended to sell them at a gross profit of 25% based on the selling price, and the total operating expenses estimated at 135 ringgit. So the first question asks you to find the selling price of each kitchenware set. The second one asks you to find the break-even price for each of the kitchenware set. And the third one, he give you a scenario where she managed to sell only 22 sets at regular price, and the remaining 8 sets were then sold at 60 ringgit each. Okay, and the question asks you to calculate the markdown percent offered when she sold the kitchenware set at 60 ringgit each. And the second part asks you to identify whether did she gain on profit or incurred a loss after selling all the 30 sets. Okay, that means after selling the 22 set at regular price and the 8 set at 60 ringgit. Okay, so let's see how we can solve this problem. Okay, as usual, the first thing that you need to do is to identify the given information. Okay, so in this case, let me just highlight the given information. So the first one, you have 30 kitchenware set at 57 ringgit each. Okay, so that means if you want to have the total, you have to multiply the 57 ringgit with 30. Okay, so this is the cost of getting the kitchenware sets. Okay, so that means this is the cost. And then the second information that you have here is the gross profit of 25% based on selling price. Okay, the gross profit 25% based on the selling price. Remember, gross profit is the same as markup, okay, or gross margin. Okay, and then the third information that you have here is the total operating expenses is estimated at 135 ringgit. So in this case, it gives you the total operating expenses in the form of amount, not in the form of percentage based on selling price or based on cost. So it gives you a in the form of amount, but this is the total operating expenses. So in this case, if you want to find for each of the kitchenware sets, then you have to divide the total with the 30 kitchenware sets. Okay, based on these informations, so you have the first information just now, that is C equal to 57 ringgit, and then the gross profit is 0.25 SP, which is 25% based on the selling price, and then the total OE or the operating expenses is 125 ringgit. And if you want it to be for each of the kitchenware set, you divide by 30 and you get the operating expenses to be 4 ringgit and 50 cents each. Okay, so the first question here asks you to find the selling price, and in this case they ask you to find the selling price for each, that means for a unit of kitchenware set. Okay, so in general, you have the general formula for the selling price is given by C plus M, that is cost plus the markup. Remember, the markup and gross profit are the same thing, so that means you can replace markup with gross profit, that is 0.25 SP. So you substitute C with 57 and then M with 0.25 SP. So in this case, you can see that you have SP on the left side and also SP on the right side of the equal sign. So that means you can combine these two and simplify. So to combine SP on the left and right, you bring the right value to the left. So this one is plus. When you bring to the left, it becomes minus. So you have 1 SP minus 0.25 SP give you 0.75 SP, which is equal to 57, the cost. So finally, solving for SP by moving the 0.75 to the right hand side. So this one is actually a multiplication. So when you bring to the other side, it becomes a division. So you have the selling price to be at 76 ringgit each. Remember, the question asks you for each kitchenware set. Okay, so that solves the first part of the questions, which is finding the selling price. Okay, the second part of the question asks you for the break-even price. Okay, so what is break-even? Break-even is simply the price of the item at without incurring any loss or any profits. So in general is given in the form of C plus OE, or the cost plus the operating expenses, or you can also find in other ways by taking the difference between the selling price with the net profit, if you have the net profit. So in this case, you don't have the values for the net profit, so you can have BEP to be equal to C plus OE, that is cost plus the operating expenses. And remember, this one they ask you for the a set of the kitchenware set. So that means in this case you have to use the operating expenses for one unit. So you have 57 plus 4 ringgit and 50 cents. So you have the break-even price to be equal to 61 ringgit and 50 cents. Okay. So the third question asks you to calculate the markdown percent when the kitchenware set price is being reduced from the regular price to 60 ringgit. Okay, so in this case you have the markdown to be the original selling price, that is 76 ringgit found earlier, minus the new selling price, that is 60 ringgit. So you have a markdown of 16 ringgit. Okay, you have a markdown of 16 ringgit. But the question asks you for the percentage, right? So in order to find the percentage, so what you need to do is just to take the amount of markdown and then divide by the original selling price and then multiply with 100%. So you have 16 divided by 76 multiply with 100%. So you have the markdown percent to be 21.05%. Okay, so that is the situation. Okay, so the last part of the questions asks you to find whether Aisha gained a profit or incur a loss when she managed to sell all the 30 kitchenware sets. So remember, the kitchenware set, 22 of them are being sold at regular price, while the rest, 8 of the kitchenware set are being sold at a reduced price of 60 ringgit. Okay, so to find whether there is a profit or loss, what you need to do is to find the total selling price minus the total break even, because in this case we have a multiple items, right? So we have 30 kitchenware sets, so that's why I use the word total over here. Okay, so what you need to do is actually find the total SP. So the total SP has two parts. One is the regular price and the other one is the reduced price. So the regular price is being sold for 76 ringgit and the number of units sold are 22, while the second the reduced price at 60 ringgit, number of units sold are 8. So you have 22 times 76 plus 8 times 60, okay, which give you 1672 plus 480, while the total break even is simply the number of units multiplied with the break even price, that is 61.5. It gives you 1845. So solving for these values, you have the amount to be RM 307 ringgit, and this is a positive value. So that means Aisha gained profits of 307 ringgit by selling all the kitchenware sets at reduced price for 8 unit and regular price for 22 unit. Okay, so that solved the first questions that is related to the topic of retailing mathematics. Okay, so let's go through for the second question. So the second question is on the topic of installment purchase. Okay, on the topic of installment purchase. Okay, do not confuse with the topic of annuity, because normally the question looks similar because some of the terms are common between these two topics. Okay, it says here the cash price of a motorcycle is 6,000. So they give you the cash price is 6,000. Okay, cash price is 6,000. So that's why in this case you have the first information, that is the cash price equal to 6,000. However, the motorcycle can be purchased by monthly installment, so it can be purchased by monthly installment with a 10% down payment. So there is a down payment of 10%. So 10% of what? 10% of 6,000, which is amounted to be 600 ringgit. So that's why here you have the down payment to be 600 ringgit. So that means the rest of the values, the difference between the cash price with the down payment, that is 5,400, will be paid by installment. Okay, and it's given that the payment is to be paid in 3 years time. So this is the duration. Okay, in 3 years time, the duration of the payment to be made. So do by monthly basis for 3 years. So that means the total number of payment that you will be made will be 12 times 3, that is 36 payment. Okay, and also it is being charged an interest of 2.5%, and this interest is based on the method of reducing balance. Okay, in the method of reducing balance. So in this case, you have the interest rate to be 0.025. Okay, 0.025. So the first question asks you to find the amount of interest charged. So they ask you to find the amount of interest charged. So how to find the amount of interest charged? Since this one is using the reducing balance method, so what you need to do is to use the formula that we call as constant ratio formula. So the constant ratio formula is being given by this one. So you have R equal to 2mi. Okay, this m is supposed to be small letter. Okay, but it doesn't matter whether you're going to use capital letter or small letter, as long as you know what it means. So in this case, m here refer to the payment, whether it is monthly or weekly. And if it is monthly, the payment, the m here will take a value of 12. If it is weekly, then m here will take the value of 52. Okay, so in this case, m here is equal to 12 because the payment is by monthly basis. Okay, and then you have the balance B. So balance B is simply cash price minus any down payment if exists. So in this case, you have here the balance to be 6,000 minus 600. Okay, and then n will be the number of payment, that is t times m. 12 times 3, you get 36. So the question asks you for the interest rate. So you are looking for the value of I. So rearranging the formula, so you have I to be equal to B times R times n plus 1, and then divided by 2 times m. So this is what you have. The B will be 6,000 minus 600, that is 5,400. And then you have n plus 1, that is 36 for n. And then you have R is equal to 0.025. Okay. And then divided by 2 times 12, which is m equal to 12. So it gives you the value of, okay, give you the answer to be Rm 2008.13 cents. Okay, that is the total interest that you have to pay. Okay, that is being charged on you when you take a loan of 5,400 ringgit and make payment monthly for 3 years. Okay, so that is the first one. The second one asks you to find the monthly payment. So in this case, you are looking for the capital letter R. So you want the capital letter R. So remember, the monthly payment, there is not the total payment here. It's supposed to be monthly payments. Okay, it's supposed to be monthly payments. Okay, so because they are paying with monthly payments, right? So the monthly payments are, the formula is given by the original balance. So in this case, we use OB. So OB and B means the same thing. OB is original balance, B also is original balance, or sometimes we just call it as balance. Okay, you can just use B plus I over here, so it doesn't matter. So if you want to use B plus I, still the same thing, right? So you have 6,000 minus 600, that is 5,400 for the original balance, same as before. And then plus the interest, you have just calculated the interest to be 208.13, and then divided by 36, the number of payment, total number of payment. So in this case, you have the monthly payment to be 155 ringgit and 78 cents. So that is the monthly payment. Okay, the last question asks you to find the outstanding balance if the buyer wishes to settle the debt immediately after 24th payment. So after 24th payment, okay, immediately after 24th payment. Okay, immediately after 24th payments, and they ask you to use the rule of 78. So when you look at the rule of 78, the first thing that you need to find is the remaining number of payment need to be paid. Okay, you have made 24 payments, so total number of payment is 36. So that's why in this case you have K is equal to 12. Okay, which is 12 will be the number of payment yet to be made, and you want to settle the 12 payments now. Okay, so given the formulas for outstanding payment balance using the rule of 78, you have outstanding payment balance to be equal to R, capital letter R multiplied with K. So capital letter R here is the monthly payment that we have just found just now, and then multiply with the number of payment yet to be settled. Okay, that is 12, and then the total interest 208.13, and then simply substitute k plus 1 and n plus 1. So in this case k is 12, so 12 times 13, and n is 36, so 36 times 37. So this is what you have over here. And finally, calculating all this value, evaluating all this value, you have the outstanding payment balance to be equal to 1,845 ringgit. So that means if you want to settle the loan earlier after making the 24th payment, so you need to pay 1,845 ringgit to settle the amount of loan that you have taken or you have borrowed earlier. Okay, so that is for the second question. And the last questions refer to the topic of depreciation. Okay, remember, under the topic of depreciation we have two methods. One is the straight line methods, and the other one is the declining balance methods. Okay, so let's look at the first question. The first question states that a car was purchased at RMX. The car depreciates 5% per year based on a straight line method. After 2 years, the book value of the car is 234,000. What is the price of the car? Okay, what is the price of the car? So the question asks you to find the price of the car. Given that you have the book value after 2 years is 234,000, and you have the depreciation rate at 5%. So in this case, you can find the annual depreciation based on these values. Okay, so let's see how you can solve this problem. So one way is by using C equal to X, that is the amount that you want to know. Okay, and then BV2 is given to be 234,000. Okay, you have BV2 equal to 234,000, and then BV1 is equal to X minus 0.05X. BV2 equal to X minus 0.05X minus 0.05X. Okay, so then solve for the value of X. Solve for the value of X. So in this case, you have X minus 0.05X for BV1. Okay, so what is X? Is C. How do you get these things? So this is simply to get the book value is simply taking the cost minus the annual depreciation. Okay, so this is the second part here. 0.05x here is actually the annual depreciation for the first year. So for the second year, BV2 is the book value of the second year. So that means it has gone through 2 years of depreciation. So that's why you have X minus 0.05x, which is the first year, and then minus 0.05x, the depreciation for the second year. Or simply we call this as the accumulated depreciation. Okay, so in this case you have X minus 0.1x, which is equal to the book value for year 2. So finding the value of X here, so you have substitute BV2 with the amount that is given. So you have 234,000 equal to 0.9x. So X is equal to 260,000. Okay, so this is the value of the cash price. So in this case, the cash price of the car is actually, so is it the car? Yeah, the cash price of the car is 260,000. Okay, the second question state that Kia bought a pickup truck at 108 ringgit, and it is expected that the scrap value of the truck at the end of 9 years is 18,000. Okay, you buy at 108 ringgit, and then after 9 years the value becomes 18,000. That is the scrap value. The truck depreciates at a rate of R% based on the declining balance method. Okay, so the first question asks you to find the rate of depreciation, and the second one asks you after 3 years, Kia thinking of buying a lorry instead. Someone offered to buy the truck at 55,000. Should she sell or keep the truck? So that is the questions. Okay. Okay, so how do you solve that one? So for the first part, they ask you to find the rate of depreciation, and the rate of depreciation is given by the formula 1 minus the square root of n s divided by c, where in this case you have 1 minus n here is equal to 9, the useful life. So you use the useful life because you use the scrap value over here. So the scrap value is 18,000 divided by 108,000. So solving for this part, you get the value of R, or the rate of depreciation, to be approximately 18,052. Sorry, 18.052%. Okay, 18.052%. Okay, the second question asks whether Kia should sell or keep the truck. If someone offered her to buy the truck at 55,000 after 3 years. So what you need to do right now in this situation is to actually compare the value of the truck itself at the end of 3 years with the amount offered. Okay, so in order to do that, what you need to do right now is to find the book value of the truck at the end of the 3rd year. So how do you do that? The first thing is just by using the formula book value equal to C1 minus R to the power of 3. Why 3? Because we are looking at the end of the 3rd year. So solving for this one, you substitute C with 108,000 and then R with the amount that you have just found just now, and then 3 referring to the 3rd year. So you get the book value at the end of the 3rd year to be 59,434.69. Okay, so right now, in order to make a decision whether Kia should sell or keep the truck, is by comparing the book value amount with the amount offered by the persons. So the person offered 55,000 for the truck, but the book value is now priced at 59,434. This is the market value. So you can see that the market value is higher than the amount offered. So since the market value of the truck is still higher than the amount offered, so what you need to do is just to keep the truck. Okay, so in this case, the decision is to keep the truck. Okay, so that is the explanation on the solution for test 2. Hopefully you have you get some ideas on how to solve this kind of problems. Okay, if you have any questions, just type down anything on the comment sections. Until we meet again in the next video, all the best to all of you and good luck. Thank you.